Come Cow Chinese restaurant. I went in there and I had got my food, and I was getting in the car, and at the time, Matty C from the Source magazine, he used to live around there too. So he saw me getting in the car. I just got my Chinese. He said, "Yo, Mo, yo, what up, yo? I want to kick it with you." So he got in the car, in the passenger seat. We're sitting right in front of the Chinese restaurant. He said, I said, "What up? What up? What up?" He said, "Yeah, I wanted to kick it with you about something." He said, "Yo, you remember that Pink Cookies, the remix that you did for LL?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "Yo, Mob, man, they want to use that." And I was like, he said, "Yo, what is that sample?" So I told him, I wasn't being secretive like that. I told him what the record was. And before he got out the car, I told him, I said, "It's not a regular traditional sample." I said, "You got to chop that a special way to get it to happen like you heard in the Pink Cookies." And I told him like where and how they would have to chop it.
Wow.
And not too long after that, a couple of years or what after that, we heard pop, 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 just step down, down. Salute Matty C and Mobb Deep. When I heard Give
Wow.
Up the Goods,
That
I
joint
loved
is
it.
fire.
When I heard Give Up the Goods, I loved it. And I said, wow, that was influenced by you.
That's
So
crazy.
that all goes back to what I'm saying about, I'm sorry, man. I'm gonna say it. It's went for too long. I'm gonna toot my own horn because I don't, I don't get enough credit for revolutionizing this thing called sampling when it comes to the harmonics of it, tuning samples and actually playing samples like there's sounds in the bank of a keyboard, the intricate chopping and all of that, taking records on blues tempos and putting them on a traditional 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. Before that, a lot of that was not happening. Okay, somebody might just sample just one hit of it, but taking one tempo and putting it on another, it takes a lot of thought. It takes a lot of time, ingenuity to be able to do things like that. And I haven't got a lot of my credit. And I've never said too much about it, but on this interview, I'm too.
Talk your shit.
Man, talk that shit.
Talk
And it
your
all
shit.
started. And it all started from listening to and being influenced by producers like we spoke of earlier. My top favorite of all time, Marley Marl, Howie T, um, Herbie Lovebug, Paul C,
Mm.
Jazzy J.
Can I ask you a quick question? So when Mobb Deep used it, this, if you don't want to reveal this, I understand. How much publishing did you take?
See, I don't know, maybe like it comes to like about 2 to 3 bars plus the boom boom, the bass ending of it, you know.
No, I don't know if you understood my question. I mean,
What's that?
like publishing wise, how much did you take? That's what I'm saying.
Oh, none.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, that's generous of you.
You a real no, you a real one.
Wow.
He tapped in, he saw what it was. Everything ain't always about a dollar sign, bro. Like it ain't
Right.
always gotta be greedy. We don't always gotta scrounge for pennies. When you bless, you can bless. I respect it.
And and let me say this too. I'm glad that you touched on that because that's why I started doing things like that and taking it a step further instead of just sampling loops and long, what do you call them? Long pieces of music. How about I got the idea somewhere around that time right there. I was like, man, actually a little bit before that, I was doing a little bit. I got beats that haven't even ever came out. I got to a point where I was like, and this is all because over there at RPM, Francesca Sparrow set a meeting and was like making a big thing of the Biz Markie, I Need a Haircut, and De La Soul, 3 Feet and High and Rising albums. At that time, those two albums was like, they were like the major examples of sampling lawsuit trouble. And she was like, you guys got to do something different. You can't just, she's like, certain artists you got to stay away from. You gotta be more careful in what you're doing. And I started out being real, what you would call loopy. I started out as a loopy producer, but a couple of years into the game, when I saw that happening with the sample lawsuits and stuff, I said, yo, why don't you try and be more creative? Why do you, I love looping and using pieces of records, but sometimes why can't you just, instead of sampling a loop of a record, why don't you sample an instrument? Sample instruments from a record. Say like bass, guitar, of course drums, right? But not drum loops. Kick, snare, hi-hat, open hi-hat, crash, whatever, um, string, um, one pluck of a harp, whatever, and play back something original. And that's how I came up with beats like Flavor in Your Ear. Flavor in Your Ear is one guitar note transposed.
Yeah, we're gonna come to that.
The original note of the guitar was probably like do, do, like do, or something like that. I put it in the 1200, start playing around with it. I said, I like this. I want to do something with it, but do, 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 do,
Hey,
do. Then I add the
hey,
bass. Then I add the bass. Boom, 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 the drums. Then on the hook, you notice I come in with the rock guitar, the
mm,
wow, wow, and then there was this siren. And it wasn't a lot. It was one of the most minimalist beats that I did. But if you listen, everything is in tune. All of the parts are working together harmonically. Everything is in tune. Nothing is flat. And I kept
mm,
doing it. I kept doing it. I said, keep doing it. Keep doing
mm.
it. Everything remains raw. Oh man, so much going on in that beat. Mind you, in Everything Remains Raw, everything that you hear in that beat, I'm actually making it happen. There are no loops in that record. There's like, I have guitar in there. I have some Fender Rhodes. I got some crystals, like some crystal sounds. This is on on the percussion side. Um, I had some low register strings in there, like, and it's like it proved. I proved it back then. I was like, yeah, man. I sat back and I listened to it. I said, yeah, that's it, man. Why you gotta always sample loops? Why can't you take instruments and make something brand new with it, original? It is samples of instruments from records, but take it and play back something
It's more creative that way, yeah.
original. You take Craig Mack, Get Down. Anybody out there right now, tell me what I use. You can't. You can't. It's sound of instruments. It's manipulated to create something brand new. It's not a loop. It's not a loop. And from doing that and being forced into that with that meeting that I had up there at Rush, when Francesca told us that, that forced me into a position that became a style. And now, and from then on, like naturally, that's what I do. I'm not saying that there haven't been times since then that I haven't looped records. On Biggie's second album, the Life After Death album, I did going
Yeah.
back to Cali, and I used More Bounce to the Ounce. I ripped that record apart. Chopped that in so many pieces. I got on the phone with, shout to Rufus Black. Back then, he had put Roger Troutman on the phone with me. Roger Troutman told me, he said, man, a lot of people use my record. He said, but he said, man, you destroyed that, man. He said, I have to say, I think you used it the best, the way that I took it and like rearranged the song to the point where you would think that I had the master. But the second song, I only did 2 songs on Biggie's second album, Life After.
Yeah, we're gonna get to those albums.
Here's where we return to the looping. I Love the Dough, which is actually Renee and Angela's I Love You More. So I'm not saying that I didn't loop after that. It's just that the sampling and the clearance, man, it just got to be a headache a lot of times. And there are lawsuits that have happened.
Yeah, I've done the research. We're going to speak about that when we get to those songs.
Yeah, so it's made me more cautious and try to be more creative with the sample, where at least I can feel like I'm doing something somewhat a bit more original than just lifting portions for records. And to be honest with you, and you mentioned this earlier, you said with all of the advanced technology and the equipment today, you said it seems like, well, you were polite. I said it's making us lazy. But if anything, we're not going forward, we're kind of going back. Because in the earlier days, that's what it was about, a lot of looping. And that's where it's at right now. It's right back to where it started.
I
A
know
lot of looping.
it's crazy how things pan out. If we could just so back with the LL Cool J song, can you tell us how that song came about?
Again, Francesca over there at Rush, she said, I have this LL remix I need you to do. She said, Marley did the original. I remember she gave it to me on a tape. And I took it home and I listened to it. I was like, wow. And then I was bugging out because I told you how I feel about Marley Mobb. So for the first time in my career, which ain't even really a full 4 years strong yet, I'm being asked to remix a Marley Marl song. That right there, that kind of made me feel good because the guys that I was aspiring to be like and be in a position of, now I'm having the honor to remix one of their songs.
No, that's
I mean,
dope.
it was LL song, but it was Marley Marl production. They chose me to remix it. I was like, wow, okay.
So wait, was it, just to clarify, was it who was the person that made the decision that you should do it?
Francesca Sparrow.
Francesca, right? Yeah, you said, yeah, Francesca. Okay, so then the interesting thing was, right, obviously there was a music video for this song, but it wasn't on the album. Could you explain why?
I don't know. Sometimes that happens. Sometimes there's the original on the album and there's a remix, and you have a choice. The music that you're gonna sync to the video, do you want it to be the original or do you want it to be the remix? They chose the remix.
Mm-mm.
I don't know.
And the remix ended up being.
I imagine,
So
I
I was
don't know
gonna.
what that would have cost more money to do two videos with different music. One
Yeah,
with
but
the
keep in the
remix
thought,
and one
while
with
yours is definitely the better version.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Yours is
It's
the
like
most
the much better version.
is the most popular version.
Hmm. You know what's
Yes.
crazy?
So
I tried to expand on one little thing that Marley did in the original, and I carried that over to the remix. Y'all probably never picked up on that. The original contains Blind Alley's The Emotions Blind Alley, which is the same sample that Big Daddy Kane used. And,
There ain't no half stepping.
right. So, and if I'm right, again, I'm going to toot my horn. If I'm right, at that time, nobody had sampled the kick and snare from Blind Alley yet.
so, since we're on the
So I'm listening to Marley got the Blind Alley in the original. Sample the kick and snare. And it's, you would think that you couldn't get it out of that record without some notes under it, but you can. And I did the, and then I put on top the,
yeah, I wish it was on streaming services, man. I can't find it anywhere.
it's not?
Nah, it's not on Spotify anyway.
Okay.
Yeah, but since we're speaking on the back of speaking about the original, I've got it here. I'll just play it for like 40 seconds. So this is a Pink Cookies in a Plastic Bag, the original. That's on the album.